Hey everyone, welcome back to Beach Angel Tarot. I am here to do a reading, and this is the Spirit Connection. I'm just going to be working through some of the readings in my Etsy shop. I'll be putting the link to the reading I'm doing in the description within the reading itself, so you can watch for more upcoming readings. Some will be holiday theme based, and some will just be spiritual connection based kind of energies, and this one is Spirit Connection. So we are going to just kind of tap into our spirit with our energy with our higher self, and messages on our path forward. So to start this reading, I'm going to be getting a spirit of darkness and light to kind of more connect to the energies. And these two came out and they came flying out. So we have spirit of alchemy and spirit of wolf, loner, fierce instincts, manifest skill, transmutation. It kind of gives me, of course, a magician vibe, and I'm getting a sense of, I'm going to say quirky and different. I don't know why these words are coming out. Quirky and different. Yeah, I guess it's coming from the loner kind of feeling. But we're going to just kind of put this over here and see what else comes out. This, I feel, is we're going to tap back into these. So I'm just going to set them there for everyone. Hopefully, no. So let's see, your connection to spirit at this time, beyond these two opening cards, which I feel like we're going to touch back base with, our connection to spirit at this time. So focusing, and this is a general, and it is self-expression, vocalization, individuality, inner voice, assertiveness. And that could be coming where the quirky and different is coming from, because, you know, a lot of people do not, and that's wonderful. You know, you're tapping into your own quirky and differentness, you know, and you're allowing it to be. So there's an aspect, it's like finding your own truth, your own inner, this is who I am, and becoming okay with it. Even the parts that maybe are not as acceptable, because if you're like a loner, people kind of like, oh, this person's a loner, you know, they're a wallflower. It's been, you know, kind of judged in a certain way, right? You kind of like pinpointed it because of that kind of energy. It could be any other energy, but I'm just using that because that's the one in this card. But there is a integration, I feel, of the, not that that's an energy that's a shadow aspect, but it can be creating the how do I want to say it? It can be making you see yourself in a negative aspect when it's truly also darkness and light. There's also a positive to that way of being, right? So, you know, maybe you're somebody that doesn't want to go out over the weekend, or you're not big into going out to eat a lot, or, you know, you're not into group activities, but, you know, you like to stay home and read a book, or you like to stay home and work on a craft. And it's, you know, not allowing other people to kind of say, oh, you're different because you don't want to come out and join the crowd, or whatever the crowd mentality is at the moment. You know, it can be anything, a way of dressing, a way of being through the week, or what you do after work, or what you do for work. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, like the crowd mentality. You're kind of not fitting into it, or you're seeing yourself differently. But the fact that you don't do it that way is kind of maybe have had a negative aspect on the way you think about yourself. And I feel like right now, your connection to spirit at this time is that you are starting to integrate that part of yourself as more of a positive versus more of a negative, and not allowing yourself to feel different or bad about it. So I feel like there's a good interaction with the throat chakra being here. There could be a clearing of the throat chakra at this time, but I feel more of that integration of a certain side of yourself that is different than other people, right? And so it's even, you know, you're asserting your individuality. It's just saying it right here, and, you know, it's tying into this quirky and different kind of feeling that came from these. So your connection to spirit right now is in regards to asserting your individuality and vocalizing that, and bringing out that true expression of who you are. Okay, so we're just going to continue on with the chakras because I'm feeling a strong connection to this deck for this reading right now. So a message about where you are on your spiritual path. So focusing where you are on your spiritual path. And we have throat chakra, so not surprising, right? Because this is your connection to spirit right now. And so it's in all right alignment. So it's just like a nod to you're in right alignment, right? And wherever we are is where we're meant to be. So it's not to ever judge, so we get into trouble with judging a lot of what we're doing and how we're doing it and what the motivation is behind it and all these things. So it's to kind of just be ourselves, be our true selves, and expressing in that in whatever way is comfortable for yourself, but allowing yourself to see it more as a positive. So you're where you're at on your spiritual path is in alignment with the connection that you're in. And it's clearing out that throat chakra. And it's more than just talking. I mean, you can just talk to spirit. You have that connection with the universal mind all the time with the things you're saying inside your head, right? But this also talks about how you express yourself out in the world, how you interact with others or you don't, and that's fine. How you dress, these things. So it's not always about words. It's about how you see yourself within, how you hold yourself, how you carry yourself, how you express yourself. Coming up with this. So that is a message about where you're at on your spiritual path. But to me, it's just a nod that you're in all right alignment right now. Spirit, something you can do to strengthen your connection. Something you can do to strengthen your connection to spirit at this time. And it's like to follow the guidance, to kind of pay attention, to really get into that instinct, that it's your instinct, it's your gut instinct to follow. And when you second guess or you poo-poo the inner guidance, the inner voice that's telling you, which way to go, that can throw you off or it can weaken the connection, right? So it's to simply allow your instincts, your gut instincts, if you will, to kind of take over and guide you, and allow for that support and direction and guidance. And to not resist and not to fight against what you are being guided to do next, or where you feel things are headed, right? So it's to kind of allow for that loving support from spirit, and to allow it to guide you with your instincts. So it's to not fight against your own internal guidance system, if you will, your own internal GPS. Because we can question, we can be told, don't, clearly we're getting signs, don't go this way. And then we're like, no, you're, but that's your ego's voice going, no, I want to do it my way. This is the way to go. And then it doesn't work out, right? So it's that knowing, when you're in a tug of war with that internal guidance system, when you're going against something that isn't in alignment with your true self, even if it's going against the herd mentality or the crowd mentality or what have you, however I worded it back here. You need to go your way, versus no matter what this group over here is saying, no matter what you're thinking about in regards to what's acceptable in society. When you go against what's within yourself, that's when the friction will begin, right? So regardless of how other people think you should be doing something, don't follow that. You follow your internal guidance system. So how to strengthen that connection is to continue down that path of, following that love from within, following the what's good for yourself, and not seeing that as a negative, seeing that as more of a positive. So that's how to strengthen it. Every time you go with what you're feeling is good for you versus everyone else, you're strengthening that connection. Where will you be in your spiritual path in 3 to 6 months? And we have relationships, almost kind of squeaky voice there. Intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust. So I feel like this is a big part of understanding, right? If you're fighting against who you truly are and how you want to do things, well, of course you're going to see friction mirrored back to you out here, right? Because there's an internal struggle with, who you are, and you're starting to express that inner voice of who you truly are. And so where you're going to be in 3 to 6 months is coming more into alignment, trusting more in the connections and the physical connections. As you can see the two hands being held, and coming to more trust within them, maybe being able to be more vulnerable and more intimate within a connection, because now you're truly standing within who you are and seeing that as a-okay, versus kind of fighting it internally and trying to perform perhaps for others or make the others happy. You're really resting in knowing that it's coming from within yourself first and foremost, and then reflected back to you out there. So there's a more of a physical coming together with others. It could be a physical relationship romantically. This could be intimate friendships, getting closer with people in your life in general, family, friends. Doesn't have to be romantical, but there's a big emphasis on a trust and accepting other people more readily, because you have now trusted yourself internally more. So if that makes sense. So I'd like to see that. So what does Spirit wish to see you accomplish in the coming year, 2026? What does Spirit wish to see you accomplish in this coming year, 2026? And we have possessions, belongings, finances, assets, and treasures. So working with, of course, the root chakra and feeling stable, feeling secure, they want you to focus on, not say like being materialistic, but it could be this in either direction. Like if you have if you focus more on the physical aspect of something, I feel it in kind of both ways. Like, focus on making yourself secure financially and having a secure home and things. But also, if you're someone, again, it's like kind of knowing yourself and how this lands with you, right? So it could be a matter of sometimes over focus on material things, putting more focus on the physical aspects of the world, right? Which we are living in the world and we need to be, of course, interacting with it. But when we put more importance on these things versus how we feel internally is again where the friction can start and where things can kind of come unraveled for us at times. So it's getting right within yourself, and that fact that you possess things internally and then it's reflected to you outwardly. It's not the other way around. It's like you don't obtain something and then feel okay with yourself. You feel okay with yourself and then the thing appears, right? So it's kind of, we've been conditioned to have it in reverse. So it's to look at that and whatever aspect it lands with you. And again, it's about knowing how this suits you. This is about either focusing more on obtaining things that you need to feel secure in the world, and also how you relate to that internally within yourself. Are you putting massive importance on the car, on the house, on the relationship, versus your own internal knowing, if you will? That may not be for me. That might not be, truly what I really want. I'm just going along with the fact that everyone wants the four-bedroom house or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It's like an example. Not there's anything wrong with that. If it's for you, it is for you, but it may not be for some, and we get caught up in thinking that that's what we have to accomplish. So what they want you to accomplish in this year, 2026, is to see what is important to you externally and internally in the way of the things that belong to you, right? A message from Spirit that you need at this time. So we're going to use this again, and we may add here. A message from Spirit that you may need at this time. And it's intuition, trust, insight, awareness, guidance. And it goes back to like this, to strengthen your connection is to really just tune into that intuition, really continue to focus on you, what is good for you, what is positive for your path, what it is good for your life, and really connecting to that guidance, being aware. There's an energy here of awareness, and where you focus your awareness is what you're experiencing. It's about realizing that you're not looking at reality as a separate being. You are looking at reality as reality and trusting in that internal knowing. If that's not somewhere that an energy you've come into yet, I feel like a lot that are tuned in. If you haven't, you're coming into that place of understanding. And this is the message I want you to know, is to trust in what you're starting to become aware of, right? In that aspect. But we're going to see, I'm going to ask just to end the reading, I'm going to ask what blessing Spirit is sending to us over the next, we'll say 3 to 6 months, since that was the, time frame on number 4. So over the next 3 to 6 months, what area, what energy, blessing will Spirit be incorporating more into, or those that are tuned in will notice more of things improving in this area, specifically outside of others. And we have this one, and it is a blessing to heal a relationship, which is interesting because we have the relationship card in number 4, where we'll be in 3 to 6 months. So they very much tie together. So I like that they kind of come into alignment. And I feel too, first and foremost, again, relationship with self. You're coming into an understanding, this is who I am. That doesn't really feel right to me. So am I going to sacrifice who I am internally to obtain that outside glitter, right? No, I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to let that outside glitter just do what it's doing, and I'll just watch it from over here because this is more of who I am. Whatever that means for you, right? And that is your internal relationship. And then astonishingly, everything out here starts to shift, and you see it differently because you're seeing yourself differently, you're honoring yourself differently. So there's that big energy coming up in alignment. And like I was starting to say, I feel too that over the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to start to put more treasure, because this possession energy had the word treasure, and I was really drawn to it. More treasure on the relationship with yourself, with your higher self, with your higher knowing. You're going to establish more of a communication, expression, understanding, interaction with you and you, if that makes sense. And you're not going to be outwardly focused or worried about not that they're not important and the people in our lives are not important, but you're going to really learn to tune into that internal connection and treasure it more, and it's far more valuable than any outside external thing, person, place, thing, anything like that. So I definitely get that. And what else I was trying to say is you're going to just see things come into more alignment, because the fact that we've got the 2 cards kind of really matching up feels like a real alignment that's going to be starting to occur, even outside of course relationships. But we only know ourselves through other people, right? We're learning how to see ourselves through others. It's that reflection. Others are just a reflection of who you are internally. So if you're telling yourself fear-based stories, or you're seeing yourself as separate in a negative aspect, that's going to be reflected back to you out there, right? So when you start to talk to yourself internally and see yourself in a more positive light, and you see others in a more positive light, you're creating a better internal relationship with that one universal mind, and it can be reflected back to you in no other way as in more positive interactions. So there's a definite total alignment and understanding and awareness coming on board, and how you express yourself moving forward in that way. So I love seeing this, and since we're in Halloween, I'm going to let's just pull some charms out of the Halloween charm bag for us for this reading, just to add some extra fun. And just to see, I'm just going to pull a couple. And we have, I'm not sure what that represents, a crest or something like that. There's probably a word for it. If anybody knows exactly what this is, you can put it in the comments below. Then we have a feather, which looks like the Ace of Swords. So a new breakthrough, new understanding, new concepts. And then we have, what is this? Oh, my fave. Is it? Oh, yes, it is. It's the mermaid. So the Yamaya energy is with us, the goddess energy. Absolutely love that. And yeah, so hopefully everyone's enjoyed this. If you like your own personal one, click the link below. There's other readings in my shop. Stay tuned for new readings coming up to the YouTube channel. And I may create new readings for my Etsy shop moving forward too. So watch for that. Angel blessings for everyone. Oceans of love.